and nothing is working. Thought I had it all figured out, but I didn't. But I knew what I was doing, but I don't. And now we'll just drop stuff on the floor, because that's what we do. Judge me or judge me. Hopefully we can actually put this together now. And hopefully this does not get screwed up. Let's continue on with everything being annoying. You better go together. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing good today. I'm putting the shovel head back together again, and yes, I know this bike was finished, but I forgot, or well, I left out a seal because my manual never said anything about the cork gasket that goes in behind the Mainseal, so I never put one in, and the transmission just ended up having a major leak there. So I've avoided taking the bike apart to the extent that the manual tells you have to take it apart to do this seal. Normally you would have to take apart your whole entire kicker side so you can get the push rod out if you don't have the proper puller or a deep enough socket, which I don't, but I did something a little different that people will probably criticize, but we're gonna see how it goes today getting it back together, and you guys can see what I'm talking about when I get to that point in the video. So I'm gonna put my cork gasket in, and then I've got my new Mainseal here, which I'm gonna pop in there. That's the project for today, is just getting this thing all back together and seeing how my kicker side goes. Let's just get into it. Okay, I've got myself a coffee and I'm ready to go. Really wish I had a breakfast sandwich though. I've got this piece of aluminum here, and I'm just gonna actually just shove this up through my drain hole on my bottom of my transmission, like kind of underneath of the gears, so that it doesn't move. And I'm just gonna wedge it standing straight up with this wedge and this piece of wood here. So as you guys can see there, you've got the aluminum rod just up through the drain plug there, and that is actually holding everything real tight. And as you can see, none of this turns. Now I've got that all jammed up. I'm good to put my seal in, and I'm actually gonna use a little bit of this Permatex Aviation Forma gasket sealant liquid. So I'll put my cork gasket back in there. I want to go a little past the surface because I want it to actually be putting just a little bit of pressure on that cork gasket. So I've got this washer, which is just a little bit not the right size. So I've got this washer, which fits, and it actually does not fit. What the heck? It needs to be bigger than that. Dang it! So after a whole bunch of messing around, I was able to harvest this bearing race out of an old wrecked bearing, and that's what I used to push this in here. I just needed something that I knew was going to be straight, and bearing races are always machined, so that worked out. I'm gonna finish putting the rest of this together now, and hopefully quicker than what this took me, because holy cow, this took so much longer. This took like as long as I wanted the whole job to take. Not really, but that's what it feels like. Just gonna continue slapping this thing together. You definitely do not want to forget your little L key. So for doing up my sprocket nut, I've got this homemade tool. This is something my dad made a long time ago. I showed this in my last video, but it's basically just a chunk of square stock that is, I don't know, 5/8 or 3/4 of an inch, something like that, with a chunk of old Harley chain on the end of it here. So the end of it's just kind of ground down with a 5/16 bolt threaded through it, or put through it with a nut and a piece of chain. So you just kind of leverage this on the frame and wrap the chain around the sprocket, and that will keep the sprocket from turning while I torque it down. Come up through here like this. Just turn that around like that. It'll stop against the frame here once I start to put a little bit of torque on the sprocket there. I just double checked my manual for the torque specs because I wanted to be sure. And it says 140 to 150 foot-pounds of torque for this transmission. I'm gonna go 135. And another homemade tool. So this is a deep socket for the transmission sprocket nut. And I'm actually gonna make another one of these. I'm gonna make it deeper so that I can get it on there without having to take the push rod out of the clutch. It does not feel like it's getting tighter. This actually feels wrecked. Totally stripped it out. Okay, I honestly don't know why everything that I do, I seem to just run into like ridiculous problems. I was torquing my super nut down to the torque spec that it gives me in this manual. And that torque spec's 140 to 150 foot-pounds, which I put at 135 foot-pounds because I felt like 150 is a lot. And it was a lot. Even 135 was a lot apparently because I stripped this thing out way before my torque wrench ever clicked. So I double checked the torque specs in this manual, this older manual that is not for the year of this bike, but it's still 4-speed transmissions. Anyways, this manual says 105 to 120 foot-pounds for that nut. Not 150, not 140, or even 135. Way too high. I'm torquing this to the low end that it gives me in this manual, which is 105 foot-pounds. Like, and now I just wrecked like a $70 nut. Like, that's like a $70 right there for that. I don't know how much it is in the US, but I just checked online, 70 bucks to get the kit that comes with the seal, the nut, and the washer. What a pain in the butt. Let's carry on here and not torque this down too much. And hopefully this doesn't strip this nut out. There we go. All right, got my sprocket all done up and my chain on, so I'm gonna put my primary on and hopefully everything will be smooth sailing from here forward. Keep saying that and it keeps not being smooth sailing. And I'm tired. Feels like it's in there. And this nut only gets done up 50 to 60 foot-pounds. This is my homemade clutch tool. So that holds the clutch hub from spinning when you're trying to torque it down. And I've shown that before in a few videos. I always like to go in the middle. I'm gonna go 90 foot-pounds on the compensating sprocket nut. I just shove a little piece of Teflon in between the sprocket and the chain. So I just slid my push rod in and I've got my pressure plate and all the springs here. And if you watched my last video, you saw my little trick for taking this all off. And I actually just took my clutch adjusting bolt out and I used that to kind of sandwich everything together with this piece of aluminum. So I just kind of put a little bit of pressure on the springs, just enough so that all the nuts on my clutch fingers would be loose. And I'm gonna just put it back together exactly how I took it off. So that's just kind of what was holding everything together. Now I'm just going to pretty much just make sure that this is even all the way around. Now for the moment of truth, I'm gonna try to put everything back together in my kicker cover without taking my kicker cover off. Let's see how this goes. Okie dokie. I've got my headlamp, I've got my needle nose pliers, and I've got my magnet on a stick. And we are gonna see how well this goes. So the end of the push rod is actually got a bit of a square cut in the end of it, so the oil slinger only goes on one way. So put that on there. I only want one of you guys. This is not really facing the... There we go, that's a little better. Well, it's finally back together, and it is way past my bedtime, so I'm not cleaning up any of this mess until tomorrow. But my kicker side actually went pretty smoothly, other than the fact that the first time trying to put the little brass bushing into the bearing, I dropped it in the kicker cover and it took me forever to fish it out of there. But other than that, it was actually super easy putting that all back together, and a lot easier and a lot less trouble than taking apart like half of the motorcycles. So over on this side of the bike, you guys can see that my kicker cover actually has like a little sight hole here, and that's just for the oil level. So once it gets up to the bottom of those threads, that's supposed to be the oil level. I don't have that on my shovel head. I'm pretty sure this is an aftermarket cover because I couldn't find anything about Harley ever producing these. So unless you guys know of Harley producing these covers, yeah, let me know in the comments. And if I wouldn't have had this little hole here to be able to get a tool through, I don't think I would have been able to actually disassemble and reassemble my throwout bearing. Definitely do not attempt that at home unless you're pretty sure that you can pull it off. If you do try what I just tried and it doesn't work, worst case scenario is that you have to do what you would have had to do to begin with. But anyways, you guys probably don't all have the same setup as me, and mine was just a pain in the butt because my exhaust pipes are right in front of the kicker cover. So that would have meant just taking apart so much more of the bike. But I avoided taking apart a lot of the bike, and I'm happy about that. I'm just happy that this is all together now, and hopefully that transmission won't leak as badly as it was before. I'm sure it'll still leak because it's a shovel head and it's 4-speed, and those just were not great transmissions for not leaking. So expecting it to leak, but hopefully not leak out all of the transmission oil after being run for 20 minutes. Anyway though, that's kind of it. But I'm gonna pop the floorboard back on the other side of the bike because I just remembered that I still have to do that. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you guys liked this video, and don't try what I try, guys, unless you want to be like me. I don't know. I'm not a professional. I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm just doing my own thing and putting it out there for the world to see. So hopefully you guys like what you see. And if you do like what you see, or if you just like me, or even if you don't like me, but you like my bikes, then like, comment, subscribe, do all those things you guys do. And like always, my lovely YouTube people, I will catch y'all on the flip side. Peace. Life is wasting away. Oh, I see. Oh, shoot. Do I? No, I don't. Wait. No. Things are going together, and Angel's forgetting to do things that she needs to do. I don't want to talk like that. But dang it, this washer would have been perfect. Is a mystery to me. How annoying, man. So very annoying. Definitely need to not drop my torque wrench. What is going on? Oh, shoot. Tiny little bit of Loctite. Definitely not repeating the same mistake twice. Not this time. Not on my watch. Why is that so huge? Wincy, incy. Oh, I didn't put any Loctite on there. Not gonna happen. What is going on here? Hopefully not with too much Loctite this time. Last time that was a doozy. Okay, and another little trickery. Yes, I'm gonna show you. Oh, dang it. So, I don't know if you guys can see. Well, yeah, you can see because I can see. Dang it. Dang it. Come on, focus. Yes, just focus. Or do I? Do I? Don't talk about it. Do it, Angel. Just do it. Dang it. Anyway, just hold on. Can't see anything. You guys probably can't tell. I'm gonna put the floor pad. What the hell?